Welcome to the Inventor's Edge podcast, where insight meets innovation. Whether you're sketching your first idea or refining a finished product, you're in the right place. Our mission is to equip you with the tools, expertise, and clarity you need to succeed as an inventor, while helping you conquer fears and limiting beliefs that may be holding you back. I'm your host, Scott Putnam, founder and CEO of Inventor's Edge. Before becoming a seasoned product development coach, I was a wide-eyed inventor with a head full of ideas but no clear path forward. I know firsthand what it's like to feel stuck, uncertain, and overwhelmed. Fast forward to today, I'm a successful entrepreneur with multiple licensing deals and products on the market. I'm committed to helping inventors like you overcome obstacles, conquer fears, and transform your ideas into tangible success through proven, actionable, step-by-step strategies that deliver real results. Join us as we bring in industry pros, share expert advice, and dive deep into the world of innovation. Ready to turn your ideas into reality? Let's get started. Today's guest is someone I've worked with and known for many years. And right from the start, Jon stood out as the go-to source for help. He's genuine, kind, honest, respectful, an incredibly smart guy. I've always admired his willingness to share his expertise and really help others with whatever they're trying to do. He's a seasoned product developer with over 15 years experience. He's a 7-figure Amazon seller and the founder of many successful brands. He's a skilled business strategist with a deep knowledge of Amazon and entrepreneurship, works his butt off, and he's one of the guys you want in your corner. In this episode, Jon shares his insights on building product success on Amazon, from knowing when you're ready to launch to scaling your listing into steady performers, and the entrepreneurial lessons he wished he'd known earlier, along with so much more. So whether you're an inventor looking to license your idea or bring it to market yourself, this conversation will give you valuable tips on making Amazon work for you. Let's dive in. Hey, Mr. Jon Corbett, welcome to the show.
Hey, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. I was super excited to talk with you, and I know we go back, way back, worked together at a company called Inventor. It's where we met and worked together. And you were always the guy, if I had any issues or trouble, it's like, Jon, help me out, man. So super excited about what we're going to talk about today, which is Amazon and your journey. And why don't we start? Maybe just...
Yeah. Well, let me jump in first. That's funny you say that because so I did customer service for Inventor, and so that's why you're saying helping you out. But if I ever had a student that needed a coach that was going to be really in sync with them, personality wise, there's like, okay, I know I can put them with Scott, and Scott's just going to like take care of this student. He's going to know exactly how to handle this person. I don't want to say a difficult student because I don't want people that you coach to think they're difficult. But just someone that you're like, you need someone like Scott. Like I always felt very confident. And if there's ever someone like, I'm not sure, I'm like, Scott's the guy.
Cool. Yeah. I appreciate that.
It's funny you said that because I was like thinking, the same thing. I was relying on you a lot too.
Thanks. It was always a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that. And for me, that's the exciting part about working with people from all over the world is everybody's different. They all have, their own ideas and creativity and needs and wants and stuff going on. So that was always the joy, and still is the joy of coaching for me, is just the people and the diversity of people. Let's talk about you. Where are you from? Maybe share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I grew up in the Bay Area, and I guess a big impact on me is that I wrestled in high school and in college at Iowa State. And that just really gave me a lot of the tools to overcome challenges and to be determined. And I'll be honest, I learned a lot through making mistakes, which I think most people do. But like, I'll just admit, like, man, I make a failure. I'm like, that's just how it is. That's how I'm going to learn. A lot of people say you learn from listening to other people or seeing other people make mistakes. And I own it. It's like, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. And I guess I just got tough for making mistakes. And I think that's a good thing, though. I think you have to be willing to make mistakes, or else you don't do anything at all. And that's, I coach wrestling too, and I was telling those kids all the time, like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You got to go out there and make mistakes. And that's really translated over to owning a business, is that I'm not afraid to make mistakes. And I actually have this thought in my head, is like, have I made any mistakes lately? And if I haven't, it means I'm not doing enough. Like I should be, because I'll look back, oh man, this certain product, it wasn't a good fit. And I made, a mistake or a failure or whatever, but really it wasn't at all. I had 10 other products, and maybe two or three had some good success. A couple of them were average, and then a couple of failures. And so it's really like, that's part of the process. If you can't accept that, then you're not going to be an entrepreneur. And then just the determinism, about like wrestling. It's like, man, I remember working all day. We homeschool our kids, and before they were even old enough to homeschool, I'd watch them, and then I would work, and then it would be like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And if anyone's a parent with young kids, they know how it is. Like, you're dead tired, but
Mhm.
I just had that drive of just like, okay, I got to put it in a couple hours on basically on Amazon, just learning the ins and outs of Amazon. And that was, probably 2 or 3 years where I was really doing that like every single night. Now I've been able to delegate a lot more. And so it's not that near that level of stress for me. And my kids are a little bit older, so things got like way easier on that. But definitely that wrestling background of just like, all right, you're tired, but you have this goal. My goal was that my wife could leave her job and homeschool our kids. And just looking back, it's like, it's kind of amazing that actually happened. I still in awe, and feel very lucky that happened. But that was the goal. And when you're tired at night, but you got to do something, you got to have those goals and those dreams to push you.
For real. Yeah, they are the fuel. And I love what you were saying about mistakes and not being afraid to make them. And I think of Mario Andretti's quote, if you don't feel a little bit out of control, you're not going fast enough.
Yeah.
And not that you have to go fast through this process, but that to be successful, you have to accept that there's going to be a little bit of that feeling of, I feel a little out of control or out of my comfort zone. I can't quite, put this into a neat little box, right?
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah. I was actually listening to this like podcast on stoicism, and I don't know much about it, but I feel like a lot of those traits I have,
mm,
I guess, like I said, probably from wrestling. But the big thing is like, what I was listening to, which I really resonated with me, is like being okay of like doing something and taking a risk. And obviously, what you hope it works, right? But
mhm.
understanding there's a chance it might not work, but also having that confidence in yourself that it's like, okay, if this doesn't work, I'm confident enough that I can overcome whatever this challenge is, or else
Yeah.
you're not going to be taking a risk at all if you feel that way.
Mhm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think for a lot of people, that confidence doesn't just show up naturally. Maybe it does for some people, but I think of it as something that's earned. When you put
Yeah.
the time in and you faced some challenges and you made a few mistakes and you're pushing forward, and it comes with time and experience for a lot of people. I think it's good too to think about it as something that you can kind of practice
Oh, yeah.
feeling confident or act your way into feeling the same way a lot of people feel their way into acting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just another technique.
Oh, I totally agree. And it's like the small stuff, it's not just about business. It's like you can develop that muscle through anything, like getting up and going for a jog in the morning,
Mhm.
especially if you don't like doing it, because then you're telling yourself like, okay, even though I don't like doing this, I'm going to do it. And you're building that muscle of resilience.
Yeah.
So that's what I see.
Little discipline. There's another great quote about successful people do the things that unsuccessful people don't feel like doing.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what you're speaking to there. Which how much I want to talk about your Amazon journey.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're very busy there. You got a lot of Amazon stuff going on or business stuff.
Yeah. Well, I just clean my office, as you can tell here.
It looks spotless, man.
That's just how it is. That's just life. I mean, I got different products back here I can show you. One of my lines is the secret stash. And so we just got like different safes and things like that. Um, right
Cool.
there. So these are for, I'm going to do some product shoots for those. But
Nice.
that's how it is. I just feel like I'm actually more of a minimalist, so I try to keep things clean. But sometimes when you're working, things are a little messy. You can't see my desk here, but my desk is actually pretty neat. I like what I'm looking at to be clean. So for you guys have to deal with that. But no, it's just that's life. Like I said, I got two kids. We homeschool, and
Yeah.
we're busy. We're picking up all the time, but at the same time, you gotta you got to embrace what comes at you. And it kind of going back to what we were talking about, it's like, yeah, I wish it was really nice and clean right now, but yeah, I'm still rolling with it. I'm still taking care of business. That's my focus right now.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Speaking of taking care of business, let's jump into how did you get started with Amazon? Like what, maybe if you can walk us through that journey a little bit, that would be helpful just to give our listeners some perspective on kind of where you started and where you're at now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's a pretty interesting story. I started one of the first physical products that I was selling was a line of bachelor sashes, just nothing too risque, stuff that said like bachelor and just things, just kind of generic stuff like that. Caution, bachelor party that looked like caution tape. So I had about 10 different SKUs of that, 10 different sashes with different sayings on there. And I was selling them on eBay. And so I'd sell them for like $10 and I'd have to ship it out myself. Someone said, "Oh, try Amazon." I went on Amazon and I didn't know what I was doing. And this was like probably 2015, around, just a rough guess is around there. And I didn't know what I was doing. Created a few listings, and I think I sold like 2 units total.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, this isn't working. And by the way, I'm working at this time. This is not my full time thing at all. I'm selling barely anything. I actually had a distributor. I still work with this distributor, but they were the only ones buying it. They'd buy like a couple hundred at a time, and that was like really cool. I'm like, man, I'm making a couple $100 on this, and it was low investment, which I really suggest to most people. Like start low when you're starting out and make those mistakes, because you're going to make mistakes. So start low. That's my philosophy, at least. I mean, if you make more, the bigger you start, the bigger you risk.
Mm.
But start slow and kind of learn those things. So anyway, I don't think I deactivated my account, but I basically just abandoned Amazon and was focusing on other things, eBay, and just living life. And probably about what 4 or 5 years later, I was on Amazon. So about 2018, 2019, and I was searching and I saw my exact product with my exact pictures. So like the models I had on it,
Mm-hmm.
it was an exact replica. And in my mind, I'm like, this doesn't make sense because this product is a flop. I only sold 2 units. Why would someone like go and knock me off if it was a flop? And so I looked into it, and I was like, okay, there's something I missed. One big thing was that I didn't know that you could have Amazon fulfill your products for you. So sending your products to Amazon and they ship it out, and that way you get all the benefits of that. For Amazon Prime, you get the 2 day shipping and all that, and
Mm-hmm.
that's huge. That's probably one of the reasons. I think I was probably too early before their customer base got too big. That was probably part of it. I had no idea what I was doing, but I ended up taking over that listing because they were just it was a copyright violation. You can't completely knock someone off like that. So I ended up getting that listing, which kind of helped me because then I was able to send my product in, and I don't remember how good their listing was, but I guess it was good enough that it was selling. And so it started to sell like, I mean, this was, looking back, it's like, nothing compared to now, but it was a couple in a day, whereas at eBay, I'd be selling like one or two a week, something, maybe a little bit more, but it was like five in a day or something like that. And I just remember checking the app on my phone and getting like so excited and just being
Mm.
like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And just a side note on that is like, I think a lot of people might get upset that you're getting knocked off. And for me, like that's one of the most important and best things that has happened in my entire life is that person knocked me off, because then that sent me down that rabbit hole of figuring out how to make Amazon work.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd be sitting here right now doing what I'm doing if they weren't on there, because I might have just said, "Ah, this isn't for me."
right.
Just looking at challenges as a positive is like you have to do that. That's like the key to success. So
Yeah,
I have the
opportunity.
success, and then after you see that and you get some traction, and again, like I think it was luck that I didn't know really what I was doing, but that's what I was talking about. That was when I started putting in that time, that 2 hours every single night, drilling down, figuring stuff out. Another big thing, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, about like tips for Amazon, is I realized, okay, if I have these 10 SKUs, really probably only two or three of those are selling well. It's like, how can I get more SKUs? How can I get more product? For people that don't know what a SKU is, it's basically shorthand for like an individual type of product, like a unit. It's a labeling. I don't even, I just, it's an SKU. I don't even know what it stands for, but I just know that that's the lingo. Do you know?
Yeah,
We got to look that up.
specific something
Anyway,
unit. Yeah, it's different though. People think SKU, they think UPC,
yeah,
especially within the Amazon ecosystem. It's
yeah.
very different. Your SKU is kind of your descriptor.
Yeah. Kind, I don't know. That's kind of not quite how I think about it, but yeah, for me, like each individual SKU has its own UPC. But a SKU is basically like a product type, like an individual product type, not a different, like a variation would be a different SKU. And then you get into Amazon, they go by ASINs. That's ASIN, and that's like whatever Amazon is labeling that. Kind of interchangeable with SKU in a way. Anyway, not to get too deep into that lingo, but it was really about increasing the number and types of products that I had. I was into the bachelor party decorations, and I got into that because I went to a place I was selling some like novelty beer holder, and they were like, I was like, "What do you need?" And they're like, "Well, we need stuff for bachelors because all for the women." I was like, that sounds like a dumb idea, but I guess I'll try it. And so it's a good thing I was in that niche. I guess I focus on things where it's like guys are kind of being left out, expanding the bachelor thing, having balloons, having banners, having the silliest things like these captain's hats that I'm selling, and I'm just selling like thousands of those, which I never thought that would
Right.
be popular, but it is. Another niche that I got into was baby showers, because it's again, men aren't really being represented in the baby shower industry, so I was getting some sashes and decorations for them. So between those two and the diversion safes, that's kind of how I expanded the business. Now have over 200 plus products that are going out there. But yeah, that's just kind of a really brief overview. Is just it getting that initial success really fueled the drive to dive deep into Amazon, and it's been growing ever since. You kind of hit a peak, and I think from talking to other people, that's how it is. Started out first year was like 20,000 in sales, and then 60,000 in sales, and then 180, and then 600, and then I'm like right around seven figures for the last couple of years. So it's still going up, but you can only triple in sales like so many years in a row, because you just start hitting
Mhm.
these bottlenecks, and that's kind of where I'm at, is figuring out these bottlenecks and getting those things taken care of. But I think it's also a drive thing too. It's like
Mhm.
once you're comfortable, it's you don't have that quite the same drive to be staying up and pushing yourself as hard. It's like you want to kind of enjoy it. I definitely like I'm always trying to improve it, because you can't just say like, oh well, I'm good here, I'm just going to level off, because there's no
Right.
such thing as either you're growing or you're dying. So like I'm still growing. It's just I'm accepting like most from what I've heard, like any industry, it's kind of like once you hit that seven figure mark, you really kind of have to change things to get to like that next 10-figure mark. So not that I'm not going to get there, but I guess I'm kind of enjoying the fruits of my labors right now, and spending time with family. And like I said, still working, but it's just that balance now.
Yeah, have a little more work-life balance,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
also gives you the opportunity to help other
yeah,
inventors or entrepreneurs and help them get products out there, which is a good segue. Thanks for sharing that background. It sounds like you started with one and now you're a couple hundred different products and just killing it. That's awesome. Congratulations.
yeah.
That's
Thank
super
you.
exciting. I think a lot of people that want to get on Amazon think that way. Like, I want to sell millions of dollars
Yeah.
of product, and you got to still start with that one or maybe one or two or three little as a family of units to just get going. You just have to
Yeah.
get started, right?
Yeah.
So now that you've built these multiple successful products on Amazon, for somebody that's maybe new, like a new invention, a newer entrepreneur, what makes Amazon a really good first marketplace? And what should people know before they just jump right in? It's one thing to know you got to take the leap. It's another thing to peek over the edge and see what's down there.
Yeah. I'll really try to condense it down because we could talk for hours,
Sure.
days about about all the ins and outs
Yeah.
of that. The big thing with Amazon, and a lot of people critique it because they take a fair amount of the sale. You sell a $10 product, your margin, if it's healthy, might be 20%. So you're making around $2 on a $10 product. That, again, there's tons of variability. I could talk about all the different all the different price points and all that stuff. And so some people might not think that's that good, but really, like, it's in my opinion, it's very good, for me at least. And what you're getting is that you're getting access to their audience, you're getting access to their platform. And you look it up. I haven't kept up with how much it is, but it's insane. It's like something like 80% of Americans use Amazon Prime,
Mhm.
around an insane amount like that. I think people think like, oh, okay, I'm going to do my own website and throw it up there. And every single time you do that, unless you really know what you're doing, unless you're just like a killer marketing expert, unless you like just, something just works out perfectly, uh, it's going to be crickets. Because how do you get people to that website? And like I said, there's ways of doing it. There's definitely ways of doing it, but it's a lot different. You're having to drive that. Whereas with Amazon, if you know what you're doing and you understand how to get that search rank, you get
Mhm.
access to those people. And that's what you're paying for on Amazon, along with credibility too. I mean, you shop on Amazon, right? I'm sure that, and you feel comfortable, right? Anyone that's listening that shops on Amazon, I hope you guys know this, is that you can return anything within about 30 days. And so, that I do that, I'm not afraid. Oh, I buy this. Where you buy it off a random website, you're not sure, like, oh, is this going to be easy to return or not? So you get that credibility of like, okay, this is on Amazon. If I really don't like it, I can send it back. So those are the real big benefits. And then as far as getting into it to start, what did you ask about that? Just some tips or what to?
Yeah. What should people know about before they leap right into it?
So, I mean, the number one thing is just know that it's all about keywords, and that's what makes or breaks your product. Outside of having a decent product itself, is understanding keywords, doing research. Like I said, I got lucky because I was able to take over a listing that someone had knocked me off, but they kind of had it set up decent enough. There's a lot to it. I mean, I guess throwing up a product and kind of seeing what works and doing a lot of research on that. I mean, I guess the basics is like understanding keywords. So building a good listing, figuring that out. Um, the other thing is having good images. I see it all the time, and I'm just amazed at how some of these listings don't have good images. You should have just a very, very high quality main product image, right? It's white background. That's their terms, that you have to have it on a white background. Just the product. You get it. It's understandable what that product is. And then you want a couple of lifestyle images where people are using it in an everyday setting. Maybe there's some text that goes with that, maybe not. And then maybe an infographic or two that shows more about the product. Just think about it like when you're a consumer. If you're launching a product, every time you go to shop, don't just shop as you're shopping. Look at those products and analyze it. And you like these salad tongs or these salad. What's the benefit of one over the other? And there's a reason why you're doing it. And the reason why is, what's that presentation all about? So it's really about presenting your product in that best possible way. So yeah, as far as getting up, I'm just kind of assuming you already have a product and all that. But yeah,
Right.
getting up there, again, like I said, we go into all the ins and outs of different products and doing the keyword research to make sure. There's a lot of tools out there. I use Helium 10 to do research to see, like, I was talking about this with someone I was helping uh, go get on Amazon, and explaining that if you have a product that people aren't searching for, that's going to make it a lot tougher to sell that product.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas if someone is searching for it, like your fly swatter, right? People are searching for fly swatters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to be able to show up in those searches. But if you had this new idea that's like people aren't really looking for it, maybe they would love it if they found it, but it's like, how are they going to find it?
Right.
There could be related keywords to it, but then you're kind of fighting. It's like, I guess a good example is like diversion safes, right? So if someone just searches diversion safes, there's 100+ variations of what a diversion safe is. But if you say like a brush safe or something like that, now I can start targeting people for what their actual intent is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big thing to understand. It's not impossible to do it where it's not, people aren't really searching for it. It's just a lot harder. You're going to have to spend more money on ads.
And to clarify too, that's something before somebody even starts making the product. When it's still an idea, they can go either use tools, or can they just go onto Amazon and they start doing a search? Or how would they know that, okay, I have this wild, crazy idea that maybe nobody's going to be searching for, but they're going to love it when they get it? How does the average person be able to know what other people are searching for? Or do you need a
Yeah.
tool?
So tools are incredibly important and incredibly helpful. If you're just starting out, I think Helium 10 is like a free version, but if you want to use it at all,
Yeah.
it's like
Okay.
$100 a month or something. Like, it's not expensive, but it's not really cheap if you're just kind of messing around with it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of free things that you can do. Just go on Amazon and type in one keyword and then see how it autofills. So you can see what are people searching for. The other thing is, say you had I mean, I guess again, I use the fly swatter example, but if you type in fly swatter, this one's kind of obvious. But if you look at it, it'll show you how many of those products are being sold it's in a month. And so I bet you type in fly swatter, it's probably like 1,000 over summer, right? A month, maybe even more. So that was kind of
Sure.
obvious. Like, people are probably buying that type of product, but do that for other products that if you're in that same category, right? So if you have a baby toy or something like that, search up baby toy and see. I guess that's kind of what's something a little bit more niche, right? Of like um, maybe like a cup holder for a workout machine, right? We just got a rower, so I'm really excited about it. So, cup holder for, right? That's kind of niche, right? That's pretty niche. You could type that in, and it's like maybe you have a different version of it. It holds your phone and it does something else, but you can see people that are searching for this. Obviously, the top ones are going to come up. So see it. How many are selling for that search term, and you got to be honest with yourself. If it's a low amount, it won't show it. If it's under 50 a month, it won't say anything. So if it's,
Mm,
you know, if the top seller is selling 50 a month, I'm not touching that, unless it's like incredibly cheap for you to get into it.
yeah.
You just got to, like I said, you got to be honest. The same thing too, though. If it's 10,000 a month plus, and there's like crazy competition, well, yours better be different enough and differentiate itself enough and be valuable enough that someone wants it. But you got to
Hmm.
know that's going to be something where you're going to have to throw money usually to get that ranking, because however many cells there are for a keyword, that's how expensive it is to get for those keywords. And you look
Right.
at stuff at like vitamins because they're repeat buys, and I'm pretty sure those are like $5-10 per click. So someone clicks on it
Wow.
and they cost them like $5.
Wow.
They person might barely make that out if they even buy it, because the
Hmm.
chance of that are low. But if you're getting that, monthly revenue from the person, that's why it's so valuable. It's because there's that high purchase rate or amount of people purchasing.
That's a great example. With mine, yeah, flies the term fly swatter is a lot. There's a
Yeah,
lot that comes up, and there's tons of them out there. So we had to differentiate, well, or design more for other bugs than just flies per se. So then we started doing more towards spiders and spider removers and humane spider removal or bug removal. And so we started narrowing that, and all of a sudden there are enough people searching for those items but it's not crazy expensive when you get to the ads
Yeah.
because it's not fly swatter per se.
Yeah. And how did you find that out? How did you find those keywords?
I have spreadsheets. I worked with another guy to really go through that, who had helped with all of that. So I had no idea. I just thought, okay, cool. We'll get it on Amazon and away we go.
Yeah.
And wait a minute, there's this whole world of education that if you're going to do it
Yeah.
yourself, you need to work with somebody that can do it. And somebody like you, which I wanted to ask, at what point in the process do you like to work with people? Do you like to get them early on, or do you want them later when they've already developed a product, or what does that look like?
Yeah. I mean, ideal is someone that's already on Amazon and their listings just suck, you know?
Yeah.
And as I was saying, is like about how someone that has a product, and you'll see it sometimes where the product is actually selling really well and it has like two pictures, and you're like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
I could help you. And like, you're making this much. I bet I could like double your sales just by like, making some better pictures, and probably need a little bit of help with ads, and you need help with this and that. So, to be honest, it really is like that's ideal. And I think it's kind of like moving backwards from that is kind of like the threshold, right? So, someone that they have a product that's good to go, because most people aren't on Amazon selling well, with a product that's just not optimized, right? That's kind of rare. So,
Mhm.
when I say that, most people are not there. But if you have a product that's pretty well fleshed out and you've done some research on it, then that's really like, for me, that's the people I guess I like helping the most. I think, like I said, the first one, that's because it's so easy. It's like, man, you have everything ready to go. It's just tweaking some things. But as far as someone that's like, okay, I have this product. I mean, I guess the next thing is if they've had sales in other places where it's like they proved it and they just need to get it on Amazon. And I'm very brutally honest with people. If I don't like their product, I'll tell them. Not that I don't, my opinion doesn't matter. I've gotten stuff wrong for like products I thought would or wouldn't do well. So when I say if I like your product or not, it's like, I like it within the terms of will it sell on Amazon? So like I said, different what are the relevant keywords. And man, there's a lot of like small stuff about advertising and what you can advertise and what can't be advertised, and the product size matters. Like there's so many small things like that
Mhm.
that you have to make sure are a good fit. So I'll tell, like I said, I'll be very honest with people of like, hey, I don't, here's, I always put on them, here's all the red flags for me, here are the benefits, and you tell me what you want to do. So
Mhm.
it has to be a right fit in that. I'm not just someone that says, "Oh yeah, I'll help you." Like I want to help people that I think it's going to be successful. And if not, it's like, hey, here's how to do it on your own, or here's how to retweak it, or maybe think of a different product line. But
Mhm.
that's if you're already somewhat through the process. That's where I like to come in. If someone's brand new, like, hey, I have an idea, I usually refer them to someone else, read this book or read that book. And,
Mhm.
it's like you said it before, I think about like putting the work in is like, you have to put some work in. If you just go to anyone, like, hey, I have this idea, it's like, all right, great. Everyone has an idea, but like, have you developed it at all? Have you worked on it? Do you have a prototype? Do you understand the market? And that's to me what's important is that
Yeah.
knowing your product, having it pretty well fleshed out. Again, another thing we talk all day about is like making sure you have the numbers right. How much are you spending on it to get it shipped from wherever you manufacture it to the US?
Mhm.
And what's that profit margin look like? Because
Right.
that's huge.
Yeah, it's important. That was great advice I got early on, is make sure you have enough margin
Yeah,
in your product. Otherwise, it's just not going to work.
yeah,
So
yeah,
flat out. And how about for people that have 2 or 3 or 4 ideas, they want to bring something to market?
yeah,
Can they reach out to you and have you kind of do a test and say, okay, out of these 5, this is your best option because of the keywords and because of the testing you've done? Is that something that have you ever done that, or is that something you'd be open to with the idea? Then maybe they work with me or
oh,
somebody else and
oh
get the
yeah,
product made and
yeah,
then come back to you to get it onto Amazon or
yeah,
get it going.
yeah. I don't know. I've probably done that before, just in casual conversation. But yeah, if someone said, "Hey, here's 5 different," I could give them my 2 cents of here's the category or product niche that I would be most interested in. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see where that could even be a service where maybe for X amount of dollars, you'll spend an hour doing some research and give them the results, just
Yeah.
so they know right from the beginning, as it relates to Amazon, they're on the right track.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, you could definitely do that as far as, going into Helium 10, pulling up keywords and analyzing that. It's one thing to have a tool and it's another thing to understand how to use that tool to know what the heck you're looking at, because it's, one of those
Right.
things. You get into it, it's all just looks like the
Yeah,
Matrix with numbers flowing by until you start using it and really understanding it. But yeah, no, if
exactly.
someone's starting out, I'm guessing that'd be more of a right fit for you to be coaching them along that way.
Yeah, we'll talk in more detail about that offline for sure. It was just something that popped into my head, and I thought, hey, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But they really get the Amazon expert stamp of approval on one of them, and then take those other steps.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What a couple quick questions. What have you found that's the biggest difference between a product that just sits in Amazon, I'll call it collecting dust, versus becoming some steady, high performing kick butt product?
Yeah, yeah, that's a really good question. It's like I said, all the listing things. So making sure you're doing everything right on the back end, which is all about keywords, and then converting with images, and there's a lot of other small things to do with that. It's something like it. Ultimately, you could do all that stuff right, but if your product's not that good, it doesn't matter. Like you still have to have a decent product, right? I'm not even saying that your product has to be the best, but it has to be decent, above average, at worst. And hopefully, if it's even better quality, that's where you're really gonna find success. But they call it the Amazon flywheel. Is like you just start getting success, and it's just more and more and more success. Doesn't always happen that way exactly, but it's kind of like hit or miss in a way of like, if you're not really making sales on a product, you're not going to make sales like it, because no one's searching for it. It's going to get buried. But you
Hmm.
have a product that starts getting successful. Now it has more reviews. Now it's starting to rank higher. Now you're getting more conversions. You can spend more on ad money because you're converting better.
Hmm.
So it's really about the flywheel. And I know it's kind of begging the question there, kind of answering it by like, a successful product is successful because it's successful.
Just be successful from the beginning. You're fine.
Yeah, doing things right. Yeah, it's really about doing things right from the beginning, being in the right category, differentiating your listing so it doesn't look like everything else.
Hmm.
And then, like I said, knowing what you're doing on the back end and marketing. And this is what's great is that I'm not a big marketer. Like I don't understand that, but I'm great on Amazon because it's my marketing is my ads, right? And so I know how to do ads. I have a guy that does it for me now, but I know what to look for because I've done it myself. But that's, like I guess having all those fundamentals in place, and then paired it with a good product in a good category. You have all that
Yeah.
stuff, and it's a good recipe.
Awesome
And
advice.
the rest is luck. There's luck involved. Like no one can
A
tell
little
you,
bit of
hey, this
luck.
is going to be a hit. You know, I've seen
Yeah.
both. I've seen the ones where you think it's going to be great and it fails, and the ones that you think are not that good and they sell crazy.
Yeah.
There's a luck involved to that.
The pet rock all of a
If
sudden.
anyone tells you, yeah, if anyone tells you like that they can tell you what's going to be successful or not, it's like, no, that's not. I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can give you like the more you know, the more accurate you're going to be, but there's no guarantees. Same with just knowing like stuff on Amazon. I'll be very honest. I don't know nearly everything on Amazon. One, because they're always
Well,
changing stuff, but it's
yeah.
like I know a lot about it, but I'm always learning new things because it's like you start, the more and more you learn, the more and more you realize you don't know about Amazon, how it works, and the ecosystem and all that. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I got the fundamentals, but I'm always looking to improve and learn new things about how
And
to
that's what keeps,
get
yeah, it
better.
keeps you successful, right?
Yeah.
Continuing to keep your pencil sharpened,
Oh yeah.
sharpening your blade, and setting goals and continuing to reach for new things and not just kicking back on
Yeah.
autopilot.
Yeah.
And there's other things too, like A+ content. If you have a
Yeah.
trademark where you get some more real estate, there's so many really cool tools that I didn't know about when I started. but you learn when you get in
Yeah.
there
Oh,
and
there's so much stuff I haven't mentioned. That's great. Yeah, the trademark, that's huge. Getting the brand protection. Yeah, A plus content. One other thing I should
yeah.
mention though, that's really important. And I kind of mentioned it with my journey, is having multiple products. That really
Mm.
elevates you. You can start out with one, but in the back of your mind, and that's why I asked you about how did you get those keywords? Because there's a lot of different ways to get keywords that made sense for the fly swatter. And I really encourage people as they're doing that is that you're going to think of other product ideas, right? So maybe you like, okay, no one's probably searching like tarantula swatter, right? But let's say they were, that would give you an idea of like, oh, I should probably have like a jumbo version of this for tarantulas. Like that's kind of it's kind of a goofy example, but that's the thing is as you start researching your niche more and more and more, you start seeing like, oh, this weird product selling really well, but it's not that good. Like I think I could do a better version of that. Or people are searching for this, but there's nothing like this. So that's the beauty of it and why I think like you don't even have to have the best product to start out because you can start just developing that and building your brand.
Mhm.
I'll tell you real quick, I just thought of this, but man, that first product, I think that bachelor sash that I had, I don't barely sell those anymore. I mean, like I maybe sold like a couple this month of that one exact sash. So if I just said here's my 10 SKUs and I wrote that, I would have made nothing. So it just kind of shows you how like you got to keep evolving, you got to keep moving. It is a little bit of a treadmill. Maybe that's just life in general. You can't just like sit and rest for
Yeah.
too long
Yeah,
because you
certainly
got to
with
be innovating.
definitely. And certainly with Amazon that it's this ever evolving ecosystem that just continues to grow and grow and grow and change. And just when you get it figured out, change something else. And especially with AI coming on board and working itself into Amazon,
Yeah.
I know with SWAT and Scoop, we got our listing had gotten flagged as a pesticide because we had the word kill, I
Yep.
think.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
You're
remember you telling me
offline.
about that. I have the same thing. I have baby shower sunglasses, and they say that it's like for like a baby shower celebration, right? And they say, oh, we need your documentation that this is safe as a baby toy. And I'm like, it's not a baby toy. It's for baby shower. Like this is for adults. So
Right.
there's a lot of wacky stuff on Amazon. I'll just say not to persuade anyone not to get onto Amazon, but their customer service for customers is amazing. Their service for sellers, I don't want Bezos to kick me off Amazon, but it's a little bit rough. I'll just say that. And I'm very glad I have a team of VAs that I work with that I put that all onto them. That's a
Nice.
big as you get more advanced into it, and that's why I've been able to like put a little bit less time in is that I manage the VAs. It still takes time to manage them because if you don't know what you're doing and just tell them to do it, that might not
Mhm.
work out too well. But I now know like, okay, I can trust them to handle these things. And, you still got to oversee them, but
Yeah.
that's a big thing,
Smart.
man. Amazon seller support is something else.
Yeah, I've been down that road. You have to be persistent. I always try to get them on a call to talk it through. As an entrepreneur, thinking about your years of developing products and purchasing products and getting on Amazon, what would you say is one lesson that you wish you would have learned earlier that could save other inventors a lot of time and money? Anything jump out?
It's a good question. Something that I learned earlier. I think it's just my journey is my journey, and I've appreciated what it's been. I just feel really lucky, like kind of where I've gotten. I think I did kind of. It's just you just kind of grow and you learn. I mean, the only thing is maybe I guess I wish I got the VAs a little bit earlier. I think that I thought I'd have to train them more on the specifics of it. Like it's one of those things like when you hire people it's really good to have a base knowledge of it, so I did have to learn that base knowledge as far as like doing ads and I mean building listings and all that stuff, and I still do most of that. I just kind of when it comes to that I'm kind of controlling because I'm like I can do it perfect. I can't like me my VAs, I'll have them do like the bare bones of a listing, but like for me I got to do it myself because I know how to do that like the best in my opinion. So I'd say yeah, like offloading No, okay. Now that we talk about it a bit, it's really about writing down what you're doing, kind of creating a system and trying to offload that as much as you can, right? Either delegating it to like a VA, having a tool do it, or maybe not doing it, realizing this is not important. I think that's probably actually a huge thing.
Hmm.
Is it's like this is probably every business owner says this, right? There's all this minutia, all this small detail that you kind of get bogged down in, and really, as a business owner, once you become somewhat profitable, or once you hit a certain peak, which is very very early on, you should be thinking about the growth of the company, and you should be figuring out a way that you can do as little of the lower end stuff, the minutia of day to day.
Hmm.
So I guess I wish I was a little bit better at that. And then I do have to give my wife credit for this too. And it kind of goes along with that. It's like I was looking at like, okay, I want to expand on TikTok and Walmart. And I've done a lot of this stuff. And I want to do social media and I want to do an email list and I want to do my own website. And there's like so many things. There's an infinite number of things that you can do as a business owner. And I was having, you and I were talking about this privately, is that I have 200 plus SKUs that I was like, man, I'm getting a headache managing just these SKUs on Amazon. Because it's one thing when you have 10 products to forecast for and do inventory for, but when you have 200 products, it becomes madness, right? And so
Hmm.
we're working with the software and to develop that. It's kind of been a process and we're getting there. My wife just said, you know what? Like, instead of stressing yourself out that you feel like you have to do all these dozen things, how about you worry just about doing this inventory and getting that set up so that they're seamless? I'm not losing sales from being out of stock. I'm not over ordering. It might seem like a basic thing, but that just gave me so much peace of mind to just be like, okay, I can set everything else to the side for now. I can worry just about inventory. And I've just been like so much calmer and just so much, just more focused. I get more done because it's not like trying to jump around from this to that to that. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, okay, I'm an Amazon guy, I'll learn TikTok. I'm on Walmart, but it's like for right now, it's 99+% of sales are coming from Amazon. I'm going to focus on that
Yeah.
and I'll diversify as needed, but like I'm nailing this down where it's like I can grow to that next level, like we said, of like that 7 figures to that next 8 figures. So
Perfect.
yeah,
Yeah. Amazon, it's the largest marketplace in the world.
yeah,
It makes all the sense in the world to get your product on Amazon if you want to do a lot of volume.
yeah,
Some people have Etsy stores or, other their own website, Shopify, which not that you can't do some volume on those, but I feel like people, and I was one of these people that thought, I don't know about Amazon. It's just going to get knocked off immediately. I like that there are things in place with brand registry
yeah,
to be able to help get some of the copycats that may show up off. And that's part of, for me, that was part of my stretching my comfort zone a little bit. And I thought, well, if I'm going to get knocked off, I should at least be on there first instead of trying to not
yeah,
get somebody else
yeah,
off when I'm
yeah.
not even on the
Yeah,
platform.
that is a terrific point. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, any final thoughts for our Inventor's Edge listeners?
Yeah, I think get out and do it. Like just go out, like I said, be like me, just make mistakes. Even honestly, even if it's like an average idea, great, use that because then you'll actually do something with it. I think it's actually a kind of a catch-22 is people think they need a great idea, but sometimes the great idea is harder for them because they're too worried about it. Go with like the average idea that you have
Mhm.
and spend a couple $1,000 and make your mistakes on that and then you'll learn. You might get lucky and that might actually be successful, like I've seen that, but then you'll be like, okay, I made some mistakes here and there, but now I can actually invest and I can do this one that I really love. I know what I'm doing now. And work with people that you trust and are knowledgeable, like myself and you. It's really important to have people that you trust, that know what they're doing, and they'll help you save a lot of money and help you to have a much higher rate of success.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. So, for people that want to get in touch with you and maybe they're at a point where they want to work with you or perhaps even just a couple questions, Maybe they're in the process of getting the product manufactured, but gearing up for getting it onto Amazon. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can just message me on LinkedIn. Yeah, if you
Okay,
want to put that in the show notes.
we will.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
Jonathan Corbett on LinkedIn, and message me. I'm not the best at checking it. I don't know why it doesn't like send me notifications, but I promise I will get back to you. If you send me it, might take me a week or two, but I'll get back and be happy to uh, give my 2 cents if nothing else. And if it's a good fit, then definitely be happy to work with people.
Sounds perfect. Really appreciate all your time and expertise. It's so
Yeah,
great to reconnect. I'm excited for you to keep growing and stretching. And I love everything you said about kind of hiring some of the things that take a lot of time, but maybe they're not the most profitable.
yeah,
As far as what is the more focused things you can do to generate more revenue or increase your business, makes a lot of sense. So really appreciate your time and thanks for coming on, John.
yeah. Thanks for having me, Scott.
You bet. Take care.
All right, see ya.
Thanks for tuning in to the Inventor's Edge podcast. I'm your host, Scott Putnam, and if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a review, and please share it with fellow inventors. Your next breakthrough could be just around the corner. For more tools, tips, and resources, visit us at inventors-edge.com. Until next time, invent with purpose, innovate with passion, and bring your ideas to life.